Hello everyone, I welcome you all for this lecture number 6 on Industrial Engineering and Operations Research. This is lecture number 3 on the topic Method Study. In previous lecture, we discussed the various types of charts which are used for recording a process. So this is the first type from the group 1 where only sequence of activities is recorded and the time scale is neglected. So outline process chart gives us the bird's eye view of the whole process. That is, it shows the outline of the process. So it is also called as operation process chart. Generally, it provides an overall picture in chronological sequence of all the operations and inspections. Chronological means in the order of occurrence. So it shows only operations and inspections that occur in a manufacturing or a business process. So it indicates only major operations and inspections. Only two symbols we have to use on these charts to ensure the effectiveness of the examination. So these charts are very useful to visualize the complete sequence of operations and inspections only. To visualize only operations and inspections. It also gives us the knowledge of the operations selected for the detailed study. And it fits into the record of entire process. So generally the process chart, outline process chart is made for full assembly showing all the operations and inspections that occur from the arrival of raw materials to the packaging of the finished products. So it shows a full assembly and it shows only major operations and inspections that occur from the arrival of raw material to the output, that is finished product. It also shows the materials used and the time taken by the operator for different elements of work. Sometimes it also shows the time. Now, what is the methodology for making outline process chart or operation process chart? It starts with the vertical line drawn in the downward direction in the right side of the page. So on the right side of the page we have to draw the lines and we have to put the symbols as per the occurrence of the operation and inspection to show operation and inspection of the product. So time allowed is mentioned in the left hand side of each of the operations only. So time is mentioned on the left hand side of the each symbol, while in the right side of the description of each activity is mentioned. So operation and inspections are numbered in the order in which they occur. So we have to give the number to each of the circles which are represented for an operation, and similarly for a rectangle we have to give the numbers, that is for the number for each of the respective inspection. So here one example is illustrated. Example is taken for finishing and coating on a spindle. So the outline process chart is constructed here. So as per the rules, we have to describe the time on the left hand side of each symbol, while on the right hand side we have to mention or describe the activity, corresponding activity. So here simple schematic is shown here, but here time or description is not written. So you can write here for this example. So there are major 10 operations which are to be performed. Some of them have been given or mentioned with the time, some of are not on the time scale. So first operation here is facing and turning. So it has given the number 1. So second operation is pulting of operation. So to the next circle the number is given 2. Next operation is face opposite end, that is facing off an opposite end. So this is third operation. So circle is given the number 3. Then the fourth activity is inspection of that finish. So it doesn't take any time. So time will be 0, or we can write, or we can leave only blank space. So this is an inspection, and this is the first in the sequence. So we have to number this rectangle as first one. So then straddle meaning for flats. So we have to obtain the flat surface. So this is an operation. So this is the fourth operation. So number given for the circle is 4. Then removal of burrs. This is again one of the operations. So for the next circle the number given is 5. Final inspection of the spindle. That means this is an inspection activity. So rectangle has to be put there, and this is second inspection in the process. So this rectangle is given the number 2. Then cadmium plating is there. So for plating this is an operation. So this is an operation number 6 in the sequence. Then the inspection of coating. This is the operation number 7. And at last we have to face the opposite ends. So we have to inspect the total spindle. So this is the inspection number 3. So the number given for the rectangle is 3. So this is the example of typical operation process chart or outline process chart or operation process chart. Now this is the rule for giving the numbers to the circles or rectangles, that is for the operations or inspection. It contains from one part to another, starting from the right hand side to the left hand side point where second part joins. So sequence of numbering is transferred from one to another component in sequence, in which is to be assembled to the main assembly. Now here again one more example is quoted for outline process chart or operation process chart. This example is taken as to put a refill in the pen once the first refill is finished. So for a pen we have to unscrew the cap first. This is first operation. Then unscrew the neck. This is second operation. Then remove the older refill. This is the third operation. Then assemble the spring on the new refill. Then place the refill in the barrel. Then screw the neck. All these are the activities and operations. So these are the 6 activities, and at last then we have to check if the ball pen writes. So this is inspection, and if it writes in well manner, then we have to screw the cap. This is the simple outline process chart for putting a refill in the pen. Now let us move to the next type of chart, that is flow process chart. So flow process chart is used for recording an event in greater detail than that is possible in outline process chart. So it is usually made for each component of an assembly rather than for the whole assembly. So this chart records each activity in detail. So instead of having an overview for each component, its operation or inspection, all activities are recorded. So flowchart shows a complete process in terms of all the elements of work. So that means here to draw a flowchart we will have to use all the 5 symbols of method study, that is operation, inspection, storage, delay and transportation. So there are mainly 3 types of flowcharts: material type, where material movement is to be recorded; operator type, where man movement is to be recorded or the activities of worker are to be recorded; and machine type, that is how and equipment works, or its activities can be recorded. So flow process charts are sometimes called as FPCs. So FPC material type records the details of the events that occur on the materials, whereas operator flowchart shows how a person performs and operational sequence. So as per the subject here, that is whether material type or man type, these charts are used to record the details. So the one of the important feature of FPC is that it records non-productive hidden costs in form of delays, as it uses the symbol delay. So we can visualize whether there is a non-productive time or delays there. So where are the temporary storages, where are unnecessary inspections and unnecessary long distance travels. So we can examine here everything. So when the time spent on these non-productive activities is highlighted, analysts can take the steps to minimize them, and thus it reduces the cost. So it is very easy for the analyst or examiner to reduce the non-productive time and highlight such activities. So why flow process charts are important? Because it gives the complete picture of what is being done on the product or process or on material. It gives details which appear on a chart must be obtained from direct observations. So this gives the direct observations on the different events. So once the recording of the facts is over, mind becomes free of task of carrying them, and then they remain available for the explanations of situations as reference. So this is related to the industrial engineer, what he has to act. So what is the information needed in the charts? So to maintain the value of the chart as a reference, it should include the information, detailed information, that is for which product this chart is prepared. We have to mention whether for operator, whether for material or product, with if there is a code for that product. Then process under review with starting and end point. That means we have to mention here the starting event and end event. So where process is carried out, we have to mention the location on the chart. Then we have to give the chart number, and if there are many sheets, then number of sheets we have to mention. Then name of work study man and approve the same. So we have to mention on the chart who has prepared this flow process chart or any chart. Then we have to mention the date, in which date this chart has been prepared. Key to symbols used. So why these symbols are used? Its summarization should be done. Summary of distances and time, etc. should be given. How many operations are there, how many inspections are there, how many storage symbols are there, how many delays are there. Everything should be mentioned. And before leaving, check for all facts. Before leaving, check for all facts correctly entered or not. We have to check, cross-check these points or parameters. For preparation of flow process charts, we have to use all the symbols, method study symbols, or all the elements of work, such as operation symbol, inspection symbol, transportation, storage, and delays. Therefore, FPCs gives detailed information about the process. Hence, usually separate charts are prepared for each chart. So in the next slide, let us see the example here of flow process chart. So task is machining of the component. It begins with component lying in the stores. Chart ends machined component lying in the stores. That is finished product. Charted by date of charting, everything is mentioned here. Various activities on the right hand side of the symbols are mentioned. The respective time is mentioned on left hand side. The various notations are used and they are numbered. For the combined operation or activity, these two are merged, where summary is written, symbols, frequencies, time and distance. So this is the example of flow process chart.